That frozen lasagna sitting in your cart right now, it has more sodium than 47 potato chips. The chicken dinner you heat up 3 times a week, packed with ingredients banned in other countries, and that healthy option with the vegetables on the box, it's worse than a Big Mac. We're about to show you the 5 frozen dinners that are secretly destroying your health, and the 5 that are actually worth your money. Let's get into it. Let's start with one that millions of Americans eat every single week: banquet mega meals. Picture this. You're at the grocery store after a long day. You're exhausted, hungry, and you need something fast. You see this bright blue box with a steaming plate of chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn. Only $3. Sounds perfect, right? Here's what they're not telling us. A single banquet mega meal can contain up to 1,900 milligrams of sodium. That's more than 80% of our entire daily limit in one meal. And we're not talking about the recommended amount. We're talking about the absolute maximum we should consume in 24 hours. Our kidneys aren't designed to process that much salt at once. What happens? Our body starts holding onto water to dilute all that sodium. Our blood pressure spikes. Our heart has to work harder with every beat. Do this a few times a week for months, and we're looking at serious cardiovascular problems. But here's where it gets worse. Banquet uses something called mechanically separated chicken. This is what's left after all the good cuts are taken. They put chicken bones and scraps through a high-pressure sieve that removes the bone marrow, turning everything else into a paste. That paste becomes our chicken. The gravy, thickened with modified food starch and colored with caramel coloring, which has been linked to potential carcinogens in animal studies. The mashed potatoes? Dehydrated potato flakes mixed with hydrogenated oils, the same trans fats that the FDA has been trying to eliminate from the food supply. And here's something they really don't want us to know. The serving size listed on many of these boxes doesn't even match the actual meal. They split it into servings to make the numbers look better. But we're eating the whole thing, which means we're getting double or triple the sodium and fat they list on the front. Next up, Hungry Man Dinners. The name alone should tell you something. These meals were marketed to working men in the 1950s and 60s who needed a hearty meal. But what does hearty actually mean in this context? It means one dinner can pack in over 1,500 calories. Let us put that in perspective. The average adult needs about 2,000 calories per day. We're getting 3/4 of that in a single frozen dinner. Take their classic fried chicken meal. It comes with fried chicken, mashed potatoes, corn, and a brownie. Sounds like comfort food, right? Here's what we're actually eating. 1,040 calories, 2,230 milligrams of sodium, and 51 grams of fat. That's more fat than we get from eating 4 Krispy Kreme donuts. But the real problem isn't just the calories. It's what those calories are made of. The chicken is fried in partially hydrogenated oils, those trans fats again. The breading contains BHT, a preservative that's banned in several countries because of concerns about its effects on the thyroid and liver. The mashed potatoes use sodium aluminum phosphate, which has been linked to neurological issues in high doses. And that brownie at the end? It has 32 grams of sugar. That's more than a can of Coca-Cola. Here's what really bothers us about Hungry Man meals. They target people who are genuinely hungry and looking for a filling meal. These are often folks working long hours who don't have time to cook. And instead of providing actual nutrition, these dinners are engineered to be as cheap as possible while tasting just good enough that we'll buy them again. Number 3 on the avoid list is going to surprise a lot of people. Marie Callender's chicken pot pie. This one hurts because it seems so wholesome. The brand has this warm, homey image. The box shows a golden, flaky crust with chunks of real chicken and vegetables. It reminds you of something your grandmother might make. But here's the truth. One Marie Callender's chicken pot pie contains 1,040 calories and a staggering 1,820 milligrams of sodium. That's bad enough. But what's really concerning is the ingredient list. The crust is made with palm oil and contains TBHQ, tertiary butyl hydroquinone, which is a petroleum-based preservative. 1 gram of TBHQ can cause symptoms ranging from nausea to delirium. The FDA allows it in foods, but several studies have raised concerns about its long-term effects. The filling uses something called chicken flavor, not actual chicken broth or stock, chicken flavor. This is usually a combination of MSG, hydrolyzed proteins, and artificial flavoring agents designed to trick our brain into thinking we're eating more chicken than we actually are. And here's something most people don't realize. These pot pies are considered a single serving, the whole thing. That means when someone eats one of these for dinner, which is exactly what the packaging suggests, they're consuming more than half their daily calories and nearly an entire day's worth of sodium in one sitting. The vegetables? They're there for color more than nutrition. By the time they've been cooked, frozen, shipped, stored, and reheated, most of the vitamins are gone. What we're left with is mostly starch, fat, and salt with a side of processed chicken. Before we continue, if you're shocked by what you've learned so far, do us a favor. Hit that like button. It helps more people discover what's really in their freezer. And drop a comment telling us which frozen dinner surprised you most. We read every single one. Don't forget to subscribe because next week we're exposing the truth about healthy protein bars that are actually worse than candy bars. Now, let's get back to the frozen dinners you need to avoid. Number 4 makes us angry. Kid cuisine. These meals are designed to appeal to children. They have fun shapes, cartoon characters, and prizes inside. Parents buy them thinking they're giving their kids something convenient and harmless. Here's what those parents don't know. A typical kid cuisine meal contains around 430 calories, 830 milligrams of sodium, and 13 grams of sugar. For a child, a small human whose daily sodium intake shouldn't exceed 1,500 milligrams total. The chicken nuggets are made from the same mechanically separated poultry we talked about earlier. The macaroni and cheese uses yellow dye number 5 and yellow dye number 6, both of which have been linked to hyperactivity in children in multiple studies. Several European countries require warning labels on foods containing these dyes. The dessert is usually a small brownie or pudding cup loaded with high fructose corn syrup and artificial flavors. We're essentially training kids to expect dessert with every meal and teaching their taste buds to crave processed, overly sweet foods. But here's what really gets us. These meals are positioned as fun and rewarding. Kids see the colorful boxes and the toys inside, and they beg their parents to buy them. Parents, trying to make their kids happy or just trying to get through a busy week, give in. And nobody realizes that these meals contain preservatives like sodium nitrite. Yes, the same stuff used in bacon that's been classified as a possible carcinogen. The portions are also designed to seem appropriate for children, but they're actually too large and too calorie dense. This contributes to childhood obesity, which has tripled in the last 30 years. We're setting up an entire generation for metabolic problems, diabetes, and heart disease before they even leave elementary school. And the 5th frozen dinner to avoid, Stauffer's lasagna with meat sauce. This one is tricky because Stauffer's has a reputation for being a step above other frozen dinners. It's more expensive, the packaging looks nicer, and people genuinely think they're making a better choice. Here's the reality. One serving of Stauffer's lasagna contains 380 calories and 950 milligrams of sodium. That doesn't sound terrible, right? Except that nobody eats just one serving. The tray looks like a single portion. Most people heat it up and eat the whole thing. When we do that, we're actually consuming 760 calories and 1,900 milligrams of sodium. That's more sodium than we'd get from eating 50 Ritz crackers. The meat sauce uses a combination of beef and pork, but the first ingredient listed is actually water. Then comes tomato paste, and then the meat. The cheese layer contains 5 different types of cheese plus cellulose powder, which is essentially wood pulp used to prevent clumping. And here's something that shocked us when we started researching this. The noodles in Stauffer's lasagna contain enriched wheat flour, which means all the natural nutrients have been stripped out during processing, and then synthetic vitamins have been added back in. Our bodies don't absorb these synthetic nutrients as effectively as natural ones. The sauce also contains added sugar, high fructose corn syrup to be exact. We wouldn't add corn syrup to our homemade lasagna, but it's hiding in this processed version to balance the acidity of the tomatoes and make the sauce taste better after being frozen and reheated. What bothers us most about this one is the illusion of quality. People pay more for Stouffer's thinking they're getting something substantially better, but they're still eating a highly processed meal with excessive sodium, hidden sugars, and minimal nutritional value. Now let's flip the script. Here are 5 frozen dinners that are actually worth buying. First up, Evil Bowls. These meals are different from the beginning. Evil uses organic ingredients whenever possible, and their chicken is antibiotic-free. Their chicken enchilada bowl, for example, contains 360 calories and 690 milligrams of sodium, less than half the sodium of the meals we just talked about. But here's what really sets Evil apart. The ingredient list is short and recognizable. Chicken, black beans, corn, tomatoes, cheese, no artificial colors, no preservatives with names we can't pronounce, no mechanically separated anything. The bowls also use whole grains like brown rice and quinoa instead of refined white rice. This means we're getting actual fiber and nutrients that help stabilize our blood sugar instead of causing it to spike and crash. Are they more expensive? Yes. An Evil bowl might cost $6 or $7 instead of $3. But we're paying for real food that won't sabotage our health with every bite. One thing we love about Evil is their transparency. They list every ingredient clearly, and they're not playing games with serving sizes. What you see is what you get. If we're going to eat frozen dinners regularly, this is the kind of brand we want to support. Number 2 on the good list, Kashi Steam Meals. Kashi has built their entire brand around whole foods and transparency, and it shows in their frozen meals. The chicken Florentine, for instance, contains chicken breast, organic spinach, organic carrots, and organic tomatoes. What you won't find: artificial preservatives, artificial flavors, or colors from artificial sources. Kashi is also committed to non-GMO ingredients, which matters to a lot of people concerned about long-term health effects. The sodium levels are reasonable. Most meals contain between 500 and 700 milligrams, which is manageable even if we're watching our intake. The calorie counts range from 280 to 340, making them appropriate for a lunch or lighter dinner. Here's what makes Kashi meals special. They actually contain vegetables we can see and taste. Not vegetable paste or vegetable powder, but real broccoli florets, real bell peppers, real zucchini. They're using the freezing process the way it was intended, to preserve fresh foods, not to make junk food shelf-stable. The only downside? These meals are smaller than what many Americans are used to. If we've been eating Hungry Man dinners, a Kashi meal might leave us wanting more. But that's actually a good thing. It's teaching our bodies to recognize appropriate portion sizes again. Number 3, Healthy Choice Power Bowls. ConAgra reformulated the entire Healthy Choice line a few years ago, and the Power Bowls are genuinely impressive. They're designed with a 60-20-20 macronutrient split. 60% carbs, 20% protein, 20% fat, which is actually aligned with nutritional science. Take the Cuban-inspired pork and black bean bowl. It has 330 calories, 15 grams of protein, and 570 milligrams of sodium. The pork is roasted, not fried. The black beans add fiber and plant-based protein. The rice is seasoned with actual spices instead of artificial flavoring. What impressed us most about Healthy Choice is that they removed all artificial flavors and artificial preservatives from their entire product line. This wasn't easy. Preservatives are what keep frozen meals shelf-stable for months, but they figured out how to do it using natural preservation methods and better packaging. These bowls also include sauce packets that we add ourselves, which gives us control over the sodium and flavor intensity. Don't want all that sauce? Use half. This simple feature gives us more control over what we're actually eating. The vegetable portions are generous, and they're seasoned well enough that we're not drowning everything in salt or butter to make it taste good. This is what frozen dinners should be: convenient, affordable, and actually nutritious. Number 4, Sweet Earth bowls, especially their plant-based options. Whether we're vegetarian, vegan, or just trying to eat more plants, Sweet Earth has nailed the formula. Their teriyaki veggie bowl contains only 320 calories and 450 milligrams of sodium, the lowest on our entire list. But here's what matters. It doesn't taste like diet food. The vegetables are crispy, not mushy. The teriyaki sauce is flavorful without being overpowering. The tofu is actually seasoned and cooked properly, which is rare in frozen meals. Sweet Earth uses organic tofu, organic vegetables, and organic grains. Their ingredient lists are short, usually under 15 ingredients per meal, and we can pronounce all of them. No weird chemicals, no mystery additives. The protein comes from real sources like tofu, beans, and legumes, rather than textured vegetable protein or other highly processed meat substitutes. This means we're getting complete amino acids and fiber instead of isolated protein extracts. Here's something else we appreciate. Sweet Earth meals are satisfying. A lot of plant-based frozen dinners leave us hungry an hour later because they're all carbs and no substance. These bowls have enough protein and fiber to actually keep us full, which is the whole point of eating a meal. If we're trying to reduce our meat consumption or just want a break from chicken and beef, these are the frozen meals to buy. They prove that plant-based eating doesn't have to mean sacrificing flavor or convenience. And finally, number 5, Luvo Performance Meals. These were specifically designed for people who are active and need actual nutrition to fuel their bodies. The Chile Verde chicken bowl contains 400 calories, 30 grams of protein, and only 690 milligrams of sodium. Luvo sources their ingredients responsibly. The chicken is hormone-free and antibiotic-free. The vegetables are flash frozen at peak freshness, which actually preserves more nutrients than vegetables that sit in our refrigerator for a week. What sets Luvo apart is the attention to micronutrients. These meals aren't just about hitting basic macros, they're designed to provide vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. The bowls often include superfoods like kale, quinoa, and sweet potato. The portion sizes are appropriate for active adults without being excessive. We feel satisfied after eating one, but we're not uncomfortably full. And the sodium levels are low enough that we can eat these regularly without worrying about blood pressure or water retention. Luvo also uses minimal packaging and sustainable sourcing practices, which matters if we care about environmental impact. They're proving that we can create a profitable frozen food company without cutting corners on quality or ethics. These meals are perfect for meal prep, post-workout recovery, or those nights when we need something fast but don't want to compromise our health goals. If this video opened our eyes, share it, especially with parents. Hit like to help others see what's really in their food, and comment what shocked us most: sodium in Banquet, trans fats in Hungry Man, or artificial colors in kid cuisine. Subscribe for more truth about what's in our carts, and watch the next video to see which everyday foods are quietly harming our health. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, stay healthy.